In this video, I'm going to show you how I closed my very first copywriting client for $1,500. I'm going to give you my exact strategy and the exact word-for-word script I used to close this business. I'm also going to share with you how I closed my first $4,000 a month retainer client and exactly the strategy I used to close them. Let's get into it. So we're here in my hometown in South Africa, Knysna. It's a beautiful coastal town. It's in the very southern point of South Africa. It's crazy how close we are to the actual sea. You could take a boat right out between the heads here. That's what they're called, the heads. You could take a boat right out and you're right in the middle of the ocean. And the views that you get in Knysna are just incredible. And so in today's video, I want to share with you how I closed my first few clients and also share with you a bit of my story. I think a lot of people look at where I am today and they look at other copywriters who are making six figures or millions of dollars and they wonder, did they do something different? Are they different to me? Are they special? Do they have a special skill? And I don't think so. It's not the case, We all started in a very similar place. So I grew up here. I spent my teenage years here in Knysna. And then my family, we moved to Canada. I started going to school there. I finished school in Canada. And then I got a job. Then I got a job at a coffee shop. And I planned to live there and I planned to stay there. But working at the coffee shop, I started to realize how much work I had to put in every single day to make enough money just to have a very, very basic quality of life. I was still living at home, so I didn't even have to pay rent. And so I'd go downtown with my little paycheck and I'd go and eat some sushi. That was like $10. And I actually remember paying for that sushi. And I still remember thinking like, wow, this is $10. It took me an entire hour of work just to afford to eat. I had to work an entire hour just to eat food. And such a crazy concept to me back then. I thought, I don't know how I'm gonna create a life for myself if I have to work an hour just to eat sushi. I'm never gonna be able to travel to Asia, because I really dreamed of always going to Asia. I'm never gonna be able to travel and live a lifestyle where I don't have to work all day. I'm literally gonna have to sit and work 5 days a week, full time, just to have a few days off. And I just thought to myself back then, there's gotta be a different way to do this. I don't wanna do that, I don't wanna go to university. I don't wanna spend thousands of dollars on a degree and then have to try and figure it out then. So that's when my journey really began, as I started to feel frustrated about how many hours I had to work to make an income. And that's the first thing I wanna share with you. If you really wanna make it as a copywriter, you gotta start valuing your time more than money. You see, even back then, even before I got started in entrepreneurship, I didn't really know anything about business. But what I did always think about is I always thought, I have to work an entire hour to pay for this. I have to work 5 hours to pay for this. I remember I didn't even buy a car because I didn't want to pay $250 of insurance every month, because that's how much it would cost, around $200 to $250. And I didn't want to get that insurance plan. I don't want to work 20 hours a month, trade 20 hours of my life just to give the insurance company $200 to pay for insurance. I didn't want to trade 20 hours of my life to just pay somebody else, just so that I could drive. I would rather take the bus. But even the bus, it's like $45 a month. It was 45 bucks a month. And I thought to myself, I don't want to work for four and a half hours to pay for a bus just to get to work. I thought that's ridiculous. I thought, why isn't my employer paying for my bus? But they don't pay for that kind of thing. And they don't pay for the breaks that you have during work. Like I was working, for you Canadians, I was working at Tim Hortons and I wasn't getting paid $5 for the break. I would have to do that on my own time. I wouldn't get paid for the half an hour it took me to get to work and back every day. And so from my late teens, I really started to appreciate the value of time. I really started to think, I'm not gonna trade my time for such a small amount of money. There's gonna be a better way to do it. So I tried a few things. I tried being a paralegal. I tried to learn to teach languages. I thought, let me teach languages on the internet. And I made some money. I got from $10 an hour to around $15 an hour and $20 an hour, but the work wasn't stable. And that's when I discovered copywriting. It was 2017, and I joined this course online. It was $2,500. I remember my dad paid for it because I said to him, let me take this course like a college course. And he said, okay, let me support you with that. So I took this course, and I'll never forget, when I took this course, the instructor reviewed some of my work. And he said to me, Matthew, this is very professional work. Well done. And that comment really stayed with me because it showed me that I could do this. It gave me this confidence that here's a guy who makes $100,000 a year and he thinks that I'm professional. Like I can write really great copy. And that's actually helped me to get started, because if I didn't get that message, I might not have pursued copywriting later. I remember because I took a year off after that. I took about a year off copywriting because I was trying other things. But when I got back into copywriting, I remembered, I can do this. This guy told me I can do this. And so that's the second thing that you need to think about, is like the people that you surround yourself, what they say becomes a lot of your reality. If you hear a lot of negative comments constantly about, whether or not you can do something, you might start to believe it. So surround yourself with people that support your career and support your dreams. The nice opportunity in 2025 is that most people know what copywriting is today. When I got started, a lot of people didn't know what it was. So they say, oh, it's a scam, oh, it's a risk, oh, it's this business opportunity online. Whereas today, a lot of people know what copywriting is. A lot of people say, yeah, you should consider that. Really, really try it. So that's a great opportunity today. That's nice. That people will potentially, but a lot of people could encourage you, and you can easily find a community of people who encourage you. So let's talk about how I closed my first client now. So I remember it took me about 9 months to get my copywriting client. No money, no income. And I was stressed at this point because I had spent about $5,000. So I was at the max of my credit card. I probably had about $200 left. I was probably at $4,800, and I had $200 left on my credit card before it reached the limit. And I remember I was walking down the street thinking, I don't know, maybe this isn't for me. No one wants to work with me. I'm not making money. I called all these people and didn't get paid anything. I got paid $0. And it was that day in the sunlight, I just said, you know what? I'm going to stop focusing on myself. I'm so focused on making money. I'm so focused on getting money from clients. I'm so focused on paying off this credit card. And I was so stressed and so frustrated. And then I just started feeling grateful because it was a beautiful day. And I realized I have a roof over my head. I have food in my stomach. I can walk. I have a lot going for me, like it's sure I have a lot of debt on my credit card, but it's not changing my life. Like I'm still eating, and I'm still sleeping, and I'm not going to focus on myself so much anymore. I'm just going to focus on how I can help a business. How can I help them? How can I create value for someone else? And this shift really changed my life, because it was literally 1 week later that I closed my first client. And here's exactly how I did it. Because I stopped focusing on myself and I started thinking about how I can help other people, I looked for a business that helped me and changed my life. And one of them was a language coaching business. See, I'd been learning languages in my spare time. And this language business really helped me learn French, helped me learn Spanish. I was so appreciative. And I thought maybe I could help this business with copywriting. And so I looked them up, I checked their marketing, and I realized that they weren't sending many emails. They weren't sending many emails, and yet they were putting up a lot of effort. They were posting on their blog, they were producing YouTube videos, but they weren't really sending emails. So I decided to reach out. And so I'll share with you exactly what I said right over here. I basically told them, I really appreciate what you've done for me. You've made my life a lot better. You've helped me to learn languages, and I want to give back. I want to show my appreciation to you guys for everything that you did for me. And I want to write you some email copy, completely free. Let me write you some copy. Let me help you guys out. I really love what you've done for me. And I got in. I got in. The business owner said, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. We'd be more than happy for you to do that for us. So I did. I wrote them 10 emails. I wrote them for free. And I spent about 3 hours with the business owner, like making them really, really good. Which looking back wasn't so great, taking them and making them sit on a call for 3 hours, but they were patient with me and they gave me a chance. And I did. And they loved the email so much, they wanted more work from me. And this is when I charged them. They said, we'd love more work. Would you be able to write us the sales page? Absolutely. I'll do it for $1,500. And I closed the deal. I closed my first $1,500. I remember that paycheck so well. It came in the mail. They sent it to me at my house. I remember opening the envelope and getting a paycheck. It was like shiny. It was incredible. I got this paycheck. It said $1,500 on it. It had my name. And that was the most money I'd ever made. I think I only worked about 15 hours. So I went from working $10 an hour to making $100 per hour for this client. And that's when I got addicted. And I remember that first gig changed everything. The other thing I remember doing was I remember getting a video testimonial from the business owner. I said to them, I really appreciate this. I really appreciate everything that you guys did for me and also the opportunity to work with you guys. Would you be open to sending me a 2-minute video just sharing your experience, what it was like working with me? I would really appreciate adding it to my portfolio. And they did. They sent me a 2-minute video. I used that testimonial when I got my second client. Now, my second client is a little different, but similar idea. It was another business I had paid money to. I was a customer of this business. I saw they were looking for a copywriter. They had a job application, and they asked me, and they asked everybody who was applying to write a one-page sales letter to sell them on why they should work with me. And I remember I wrote this one-page sales letter, and I added my video testimonial from the previous business. And I told them, I think I'm the right fit for this because I'm one of your customers. I actually know your customers so well because I'm one of them. And I'm a copywriter. And I've worked with this other business. I've helped them make a lot of money. But the big thing I mentioned as well is how big that business was. My first client was a 7-figure business owner. So I spent a lot of time talking about how my previous client has a big YouTube channel and is making a lot of money, and how this business I'm applying to work with is the same. They also have a YouTube channel and they're also making a lot of money. And I'm a copywriter, I'm a customer, I can help you. And they liked my sales page. So I closed my second client because I was a good writer. I didn't close my second client because of some sales script. I didn't close my second client because I sent 1,000 outreach messages. It was my first message after getting my first client. It was my very next client I got without any extra outreach. I just was good at my craft. I've been practicing. I knew how to write sales pages, and I closed the business. I got their attention. And here's the most important thing that I'm going to tell you in this video, okay? Most important thing. Luck. Everybody gets lucky. Was I lucky? Maybe. But I believe that when you get lucky, you need to know how to convert the luck. A lot of new copywriters think that as soon as you get somebody on the phone and as soon as you close that client, life changes forever. It's not the case. Usually with big businesses, they put you through a testing period. They test you out a little bit. They want to see if you're good enough. And so I don't really believe that luck is this thing that people say it is. People say, oh, a 6-figure copywriter, you got lucky. Most people get lucky if you put in enough work. If you work hard, you can create luck. It's like rolling the dice, you know? If success means rolling a 6, if you only roll the dice once, you're not going to get the 6 maybe. You have a 1 in 6 chance. But if you want to get the 6, you just keep rolling the dice. Eventually, if you keep rolling the dice as many times as possible, you're eventually going to roll a 6. And that's kind of how I see luck as well. It's like, you're eventually going to be lucky if you just keep rolling that dice, if you just keep trying. But once you do close the client, what do you do? That's what matters. And I really worked hard. Those first 3 months with that business, I did nothing but work. I worked. I pushed myself really hard. I learned the skill. I made a massive effort. It took me an entire week just to write 5 emails. But they liked it. They liked the work. And so that's the last thing I want to share with you is really apply yourself when you close the client. Because it's not about being lucky. It's about taking the luck that you get whenever you do get lucky and making sure that you convert that luck into something permanent and get the testimonial and get the feedback and take screenshots of the results you get and use them again. And I did that. I used them again and again. After I worked with that business for a year, I just kept going. I just kept using the results, and I got another client and another client, and the rest is history. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. To recap, I closed my first client by focusing outward, not inward. I stopped focusing on what I needed. I started focusing on what they needed. Second thing, I sent them an email to offer myself and give them value up front. And I did a lot of work for them up front. Third thing, I got the testimonial from them. Step 4, when I applied to the second client, I really put in a lot of effort to write that sales page. A lot of people, they don't want to do a lot of work. They just want to get the gig. I put in probably about a day and a half just on that one application. I really gave it my best. And you know what? One last thing I'll just share with you here. One last thing. I almost didn't apply to that gig. You know, I had a friend that said to me, do it. And I said, I don't know. They're probably not going to accept me. There's probably 300 other applications. Why would they accept me? I've only worked with one business. And they said, well, if you don't apply, you're definitely not going to get it. But if you apply, maybe there's a small chance that you do get it. And maybe that small chance changes your life. And so that's my message to you. It's like, if you feel you're not good enough for something and you probably can't get it, just do it anyway. Because if you don't go for it, you're definitely not going to get it. But if you do go for it and you really put yourself out there and you really try, you could change your life forever. A lot of 6-figure copywriters don't care what's on the job description. They're like, this business wants copy, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try. And I'm telling you so many times, business owners hire you anyway because you make the effort. You tried. And so that's step number 4. And step number 5 is keep capturing the success, keep capturing the results that you get for your clients, and keep building up that portfolio as much as possible so that you can keep getting more and more and more clients, and it just gets better and better from there. And if you want more tips on how to close copywriting clients, check out some of my recent interviews on my channel where I talk with many six-figure copywriters who were in the same place as you might be right now, where they were getting started, and I go into detail with them on exactly what they did to close some of their first clients. Go check out those interviews, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bro, I'm insecure, and I'll teach you how to be insecure too for $9.97. All right, good. And how I did it. $15,000, no. That would be nice. Close my first 1,500, because you're gonna do the little boom, like Matthew. Okay, done.